So hi, welcome to my podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with
Emma from Dying Wish.
I asked her some questions today about the upcoming album Symptoms of Survival. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response, the announcement so far?
I feel really good about it. It gets a little overwhelming at times, but it's good to hear that people love the songs like we do.
Hell yeah. The album fucking rocks.
Yes. Oh my God. I actually just finished up the last track right before you joined, and holy shit, heavy hitter after heavy hitter after. You guys don't fucking stop, and it's just immaculate.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we wanted to make it all killer, no filler. So
absolutely. And
Definitely
I'm stoked that there's more of your cleans on the album, because that's what I was missing on the last one. I was like, she's got such a great singing voice, and I need to hear more of it. And I'm glad that you embraced it on this record.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yeah, that was definitely a goal, was to just kind of lean into it more, because I just feel like there's more we could do kind of with those big melodies. And so we were able to kind of just like expand on our sound that we've already established a lot. But there's also some songs that don't have any cleans at all, that are just like really heavy hitters too.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So is there any meaning behind the album title or cover art?
Yeah. So the title, it's actually a lyric in the first song, which is the title track.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of enveloped the idea of the record really well, because we talk a lot about different sides of the human experience and the struggle to survive. And that song in particular is written from like a war perspective. So there's just kind of this theme of common suffering that we as a band talk a lot about. But we tried to open our lens and talk more just about general things. And it's got a bit of that and also a personal balance.
Mm-hmm.
And for the album artwork, we felt like this was a new layer of growth from that. People have grown, we've grown as a band, we've grown as, our sound. And so we wanted to really take the idea of, this suffering from the first record and incorporate the idea of growth. And so that's why you see this like corpse, this dead body with all of this new life blossoming from it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
Love that. So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for the album?
Yeah, well, we did 2 separate pre-pro weeks before we went in to do the actual record. And that's when we wrote Torn from Your Silhouette was the first one. And then the second time we just started writing a bunch of songs, and that's pretty much all Sam and Randy. They do that. And then as far as lyrics go, myself and Pedro, we mapped out all of the different topics that we would want to talk about. And we came up with about 15 different topics.
Mm-hmm.
And we would, kind of like map out like what are the main talking points, like what are some keywords we want to use. And then we would both kind of just like go into our own spaces and write, and then come together and sort through everything. And there are some songs like Pat to Your Grave is a very me heavy song. And then songs like Pray for Me is like a very Pedro heavy song.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of just like split the difference, and it kind of gives us this interesting like 2 different perspectives on the record. But then, we just kind of see how the flow works with the songs and select, where does this work best, subject matter versus like song, sound.
Yeah. Damn, that is really interesting. I don't think we've spoken to anyone who says that, you guys come together, you write down topics that you want to talk about, you kind of create a rough outline of what you want to talk about in the song, and then go and write about that. So do you kind of like having to put yourself in a box while writing a song, or is that kind of difficult because maybe one day you come in and you're like, hey, I had a bad day yesterday, I want to sing about this, I want to write about this? Or do you just prefer to already have the topics outlined?
There were definitely topics that we, didn't use, or like you heard a song and it would inspire something new.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that we've kind of embraced more of a collaborative process between Pedro and I. And when we have both of our different brains writing about similar things, it kind of helps us to like bounce off of each other. It does become a very fluid process. I wouldn't say like, we try to box ourselves in. It's just like giving ourselves more of a goal and then seeing if we're going to accomplish it. And if it, derails and turns into something else, then, that works for us too.
Right.
Okay, that's
Makes
good.
sense.
That's good to hear. So what song off this album took longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
The longest to write. Well, my personal favorite is probably, I have two, Lost in the Fall and Bathed in Sorrow, which is a song that has not been released yet, but it is a ballad. And Lost in the Fall, I'm a huge sucker for album closers. Like that's what I pay attention to as a listener and as a fan. And so we've always tried to make, the album closer feel like very like a perfect summarization. And I feel like that's how Lost in the Fall sounds to me. And Paved in Sorrow really did take quite a long time to write because I started writing the subject matter for this song in July of last year. And the song kind of evolved. And, I continued to keep writing, and then we didn't track it until mid-March. So that one was a very important song for me. And, I was still kind of processing how I was feeling about the subject matter at the time. So that was definitely like the hardest song for me to write, and also took the longest.
All right. And with Lost in the Fall, you say it's the perfect summation of the record. Is that why it wound up being a single? Because it's always so interesting to me when a band like puts out the closer as one of the singles.
I mean, when we heard it, we knew it had to be a single, but we also knew it had to be the album closer. We were like, it's kind of unconventional, but like we should just do it. And then, and Torn from Your Silhouette is the second to last song on the record. So that's two singles at the very end. So I think it kind of, for us, we made a statement like, here's these two songs that you love on the back half of the record, because we don't really believe in the idea of like front loading it. It's more about how the album flows. And like, we kind of, there were certain songs where we were like, okay, like maybe this one, put it before Torn, because if it doesn't get listened to, like, it is what it is. But I think that by putting those songs at the end, hopefully it'll encourage people to listen to the record all the way through.
Fair enough. And you did just kind of dive into a little bit, but how did the track list for the album come about? Did you guys write the opener be the opener, closer be a closer, shuffle around and see what fits? What was that process like?
Well, it's funny because before we started tracking vocals, we thought we had a track listing. We were like, okay, here's 13 songs. This is the track listing. Now let's track vocals. And then once vocals and drums, because we do drums last, were tracked, it was like, okay, actually, this doesn't make sense anymore. Let's flip it and turn it on its head. So the album opener is track 6 or 7 from the original track listing. Yeah. And track 1, we felt was kind of more of an interlude. So it kind of flips it because like Fragments, the idea was we wanted to do kind of the same thing that we did with Cowards, was open the record with like a banger, like in your face.
Yeah.
But then, we heard this one and we were like, well, the record's so different. Why don't we try to do something a little different? And so this Symptoms of Survival, the opening track, is the title track. And it's also way different than any other song that we've done. So I think as we continued to write and finish the record, we were like, let's just keep doing different things,
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So would you be able to tell us where your headspace is at while you're creating this record?
I mean, I felt amazing.
Good.
Because it's like, most of the time, like in the past, writing became like a very lethargic process for me. But I feel so confident with myself right now where I don't feel like I have to completely immerse myself in the feeling to write about it. I feel like I can challenge myself as a writer to write something kind of like objectively from the outside and still have it like hit the same.
Mhm.
So, and I thought that that would be better for my mental health too, you know, just to kind of like not fully become such like, you know, what's the word that they use? Like lethargic about it. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but yeah, I felt really good about it, and I felt way more prepared writing this record than the first one. And I felt very determined. Watch My Promise Die is kind of written about a lot of the fear surrounded about just going through this as a person generally, with like all of these like this pressure on you and being so visible. But that aside, I felt really good.
That's
Fuck
awesome.
yeah.
Happy to
Always
hear
good
that.
to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? Should do in the car with friends, in the dark with headphones on? Is it a workout album, party album? What do you personally recommend?
I recommend either, I think in silence, like you know, in a room with friends where you're all just like in your space, so you have the lights dimmed, it's on a speaker, or maybe you're driving alone through somewhere, or maybe you're just laying in your bed with your headphones on. Really just kind of for the first listen, like let it like sink in, because it is a heavy record, subject wise, sonically. So I think you'll really appreciate it the most if you just like really develop or you know,
Digest.
digest it and like commit all of yourself in that moment to it.
And with the record being so like heavy in terms of the topics on it, and you're writing like from an objective point of view, was there any sort of struggle for you like writing about these heavy topics but not necessarily feeling it 100%?
No, I don't think so. Maybe that's just me. I am a very empathetic person. I feel everything all the time. And so like I didn't really have that issue. Yeah, I think it was just better for me because as a person who has like struggled, you know, with mental health and stuff like that, it just helped for me to be able to access those parts without feeling it in the moment.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. So this one should be super, super quick. Off the top of your head, I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
Emotional,
Mhm.
heavy,
Mhm.
humanity.
Oh,
That's good.
Yeah.
shit.
I like
Beautiful.
it.
Beautiful.
And in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want listeners to have while going through the album?
A lot. I think reflection is the main one. You know, there's a lot of personal stuff on it. I think that it's important to reflect and allow yourself to move on from things and develop new feelings and learn every day.
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah. So are you able to touch on any particularly challenging or standout moments from the creation of this album, positive or negative?
And it feels like so long ago already. I think once we got down to the wire with like the last 3 songs, finishing the lyrics were incredibly hard. But that's where I was. They were more of like the just straight up heavy songs and like the less melodic emotional songs. And so that's where I personally was like, okay, thank God I can like lean on Pedro to have him like, you know, give me his brain and then we can collaborate. And it just took a lot of the stress off of me, which I thought was nice.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
It's a good.
So for this question, we want you to picture you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
Either an Uncrustable or Gardetto's, the rye only chip.
Ooh,
Okay.
you are the only person I've met that actually likes those. That's crazy.
Love them.
Wow. Rye chips. Okay.
It's
Then
like 3 daily sodium, but they're good.
it's worth it. It's worth it though. And for the Uncrustable, what flavor are we talking? Are we doing the honey peanut butter? The
Great.
grape.
Great
Damn
jelly.
right. Mhm.
Yeah.
Damn right. Damn right. And on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
Shawarma. Got a little bit of, you know?
I love how
Okay.
fast that was. Is this something you think about on the regular?
No. All so different. Like, if you ever got to sit in a room with Dying Wish, it's like we're all just like so ourselves, you know, and lots of different flavors happening and stuff like that.
Makes sense. And for the last couple questions, we're going to shift completely away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Ooh. Death row, my last meal would be an Ike's James and the Giant Peach vegan, everything on it with Dutch Crunch. And as a drink, I would have a margarita.
Ooh.
Nice.
Damn
Frozen.
right. Ooh, frozen. Shit.
All right.
Okay. And if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
That is a really good question. Wow, I've
Thank
never. I don't know, at Hogwarts maybe? Sounds fun.
Yeah. Do you know what house you are?
No, I'm not really a huge Harry Potter fan, but like I'm just thinking like I want to live in a castle somewhere. You know what I mean? With a bunch of wizards and weird people. So
Exactly. Powers, dragons, all that shit.
yeah, but I
Hogwarts
feel
fits that.
if I were probably a house, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
So I've not asked the last question. Every single person that we've spoken to have said that it is the most important question. What's your favorite color?
Pink.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Specific shade of pink?
Like a blush pink. Like this
Ah.
color.
Oh,
nice.
that's a good ass pink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So as I said, that's all the questions you have to say. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Yeah. Symptoms of Survival comes out November 3rd on Sharp Tone Records. We have 4 singles with music videos accompanying them out now. Check those out. And we have a tour coming up. I can't believe I didn't mention this on my last one, but we have a tour coming up. It's our first headliner tour ever, coming to a city near you. And the shows are selling out and the support bands are all awesome. So check that out at dyingwishhc.com. And hopefully we will see you there.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, thank you for sounding. It's been Emma from Dying Wish, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.